An opportunistic Robert F. Kennedy Jr. was interviewed by Chris Cuomo after Joe Biden's very bad debate performance. And he said he would have a conversation about replacing President Biden on the Democratic ballot. Now, I know many of you are saying, why on earth would Democrats do that? That's a terrible idea. He'd never win. We'll get to that. But let's listen to this exchange with Robert F. Kennedy Jr. after Biden's debate performance with Trump, interviewed by Chris Cuomo.
I hear you, but Bobby, you don't know if you don't ask. And, you have to know that they're in scramble mode. They're going to pray for something else to happen in the world. You'll see who's friendly to the administration in terms of what people cover the next 2-3 days. Because if all of a sudden something suddenly happens in Ukraine or the Middle East and we stop talking about our election, you'll know why. But strategically, you're learning firsthand with your organization how hard it is to break into the system from the outside. The Democrats are looking for somebody. I mean, I don't know why it wouldn't be worth the energy for you to make yourself an option.
Who do you have that phone conversation with, Chris? Do you know who that guy is?
I could give you a couple people that I think I would have a conversation with that I'll call you. I'm just saying, Bob, look, you're a known quantity. Everybody knows that you have your own mind, but people know your family. They know what your background is. Nobody's got better Democratic bona fides than you do. And they just pushed you out because of how toxic the party system has become. But now the guy they pushed you out for is in free fall. So, I'm just throwing it out there because it would really solve their problems and yours at the same time.
Yeah, I cannot predict what they're going to do. I mean,
Would you be open to talking to them? If they reached out to you, Bobby, would you be talking to them?
Of course I would. Of course I would talk to them. It would put me on the ballot with nobody trying to get me off.
Yeah.
I'm going to be on the ballot at this point in every state by mid-July. But but I'm going to have the DNC suing me in every state.
So listen, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is wrong that he's going to be on all 50 ballots by July. It does not appear that that's going to happen. But the real question here is, does anyone think that it's even remotely possible that if Democratic delegates get together, if Joe Biden agrees to release his delegates, because remember, Joe Biden has secured enough delegates to be the nominee. There is no legal process that I was able to find through which the DNC could strip President Biden of those delegates. Biden would have to give it up. There's no planet on which they say, let's go with Robert F. Kennedy Jr. And I don't really think the math favors it either. Just looking at some of the recent multi-way polls, you see that Kennedy is polling between 4 and 13, depending on how the poll is structured and whether it's likely or registered voters and so on and so forth. His argument would be that if he were to become the Democratic nominee, he gets his, for example, 9 plus Biden's 39, that gets him to 48, and Trump only has 42, as an example from the data we're looking at. But of course, that's not the way that it would go, because replacing Biden is a sort of chaos bomb. And as I said yesterday, I'm not saying it's the right or wrong decision. I've been honest with the audience. I genuinely don't know. On the one hand, it's hard to imagine a performance like last Tuesday's and that helping Biden get to where he needs to be. On the other hand, the early polling after the debate doesn't look dramatically different. Hypothetical polling about what if Biden were replaced with person 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All those people do slightly worse than Biden. So it's unclear to me. But without a doubt, if you say, hey, Democrats, Biden's out, we're putting in Bobby Kennedy Jr., you lose a bunch of the support that Biden already has. Now, maybe you gain some from people planning to vote for Trump. But the point here is, anyone telling you that the math of such a move is clear is just acting black and white when it comes to something that is completely and totally gray area.